Hi everybody, it's Spring with Soaps and Suds and such, and today I'm going to be making chicken casserole, and I've got my grandmother's recipe here. Now this chicken casserole, what we use is you can either use for the topping, you can use breadcrumbs, which I've got the Italian there, or you can use cornflakes. Work well for the topping. I'm going to be using both. My husband does not like the crunchiness from the cornflakes, but I do. Okay, going to be using that. We're going to be using some cream of chicken soup. I'm going to be using 2 cans. This recipe does call for mayo. If you don't like mayo, or mayonnaise, I guess I should say, if you don't like that, because we have several people in our family that do not like it, you could use extra cream of chicken soup, maybe some mushroom soup. Cream of mushroom would work really good. I've actually used cream of mushroom in it before. Okay, and you're also going to need wild rice. I like to use this kind, the Uncle Ben's long grain wild rice. That's the one I like to use. You could use whichever one you want to. And I also like to put almonds in mine. Now, some people, you know, if you're allergic to nuts, that's optional. You can leave those almonds out. These are the slithered or sliced. You can use sliced or slithered, either one. And you're going to want to use celery. And also, I almost forgot, you're going to want to have onion for this. And some margarine or butter, and chicken. Now the recipe calls for 2 cups of chicken. I tend to use more because my husband, he likes a lot of chicken in it. He prefers deer or beef, but you know, we can't fix that all the time, so I put a lot of chicken in it because he'd rather have it with a lot of chicken. Now, if you use choices of chicken, well, I've used a whole chicken, like one of your roasting chickens, and I've just boiled it and then picked off the meat, of course, no fat or anything like that. But my husband tends to like the breast better, and I do too, so I'm going to be using chicken breast in it. And you want to use cooked chicken. So I'm going to actually bake mine, but now you can boil it and this, you know, just cut it up. You could saute it, cut it up in little cubes. We prefer ours kind of pulled, you know, just pulled into pieces, but however you prefer to do it. Okay, here's how I'm doing my chicken. Now, as you can see, I've got chicken breast. I've actually got 4 of them in there. Pan was a little bit small. I didn't feel like digging out the larger Pyrex baking dish, so I've just put some salt and pepper, freshly ground pepper, a little bit of kosher salt, and yes, a little bit of margarine, butter, whatever you want to call it. You could use olive oil if you'd rather. Around here we like butter in it, so then I'm just going to close this up. I'll close it up like so. You know, I didn't get that quite long enough, but it'll still work. And then I'm going to close this side, which will go together neatly. And then I have got my oven preheated. I've got it preheating to 400, but then I'm going to cut that down because I want it to kind of cook slow. Okay, now you're going to want to use cooked rice. So you seen what I have was just a box, and this is fast cook, and it has got the seasoning, which I do add in there, and then I'm going to cook this rice. You don't want to use rice that's not cooked, so however you choose, you know, whatever type you choose, or whether you choose to use the seasoning in it, that's totally up to you. You don't have to use the seasoning if you don't want to. Okay, what I've got here is I've got 1.5 cups of mayo that I'm going to be using in it. I've got 4 tablespoons of chopped onion, and you can use whatever kind of onion you want to. I've got a 1/2 cup of celery here that's cut up, and you can cut that finer if you want to. You can leave it out if you don't want the onion in it or the celery. And like I said about mayo, if you don't eat mayo, just use some extra soup like we have right here, or be creative. Okay, now it's time to mix this, and I've done put 1 can of my cream of chicken soup in there. I'm going to put the other can. And I have got my oven on 350, so you'll want to preheat your oven. Mine's already preheated where I cooked my chicken in the oven, baked it. You don't have to do that. Like I said, you can boil it. Okay, and then I've got, to that I'm going to add my, where is it at? My mayonnaise. And I'm putting 1.5 cups. I will put her recipe in the description box. Now the way I'm going to add more chicken and stuff, I'll just tell you in that way. That's just like your celery. Like I said, that's optional if you don't want to add it, or you can add less. You could add, you know, like 1 stalk. But that's 1.5 cups of mayonnaise, or if you don't want to use mayonnaise, just use something else, such as soup. Okay, putting our mayonnaise in here.
Alright.
Do want to get it all. I like to use mayonnaise in mine. Okay. I think I got most of it. Stir that around a little bit. Okay. Then I'm going to put in 1/2 cup of celery, and you can use less or more if you like celery. And 4 tablespoons of chopped onion. You can also use less or more if you like it, or just leave it out. Give that a stir. Okay. Now, our cooked rice. Here's mine. And I have had it in the refrigerator while my chicken cooked. I had everything in the refrigerator that I got ready earlier. And incorporate that real good. Now, sliced almonds, slivered almonds, you can put those however you want to, or not use them at all. It's optional. I'm putting 1/2 cup because I like them. We used to just buy the little bags that you find lots of times and just use that bag, so you don't have to use a half a cup. Okay, we've got everything in except for chicken. Now, the recipe calls for, let's see, I think, let me look at it. It calls for 2 cups of diced chicken, cooked chicken. Me, like I said, I have to go overboard because my husband loves it with a lot of chicken. So, I've got here, honestly, 6 cups, and it's not diced. I don't like it diced. I like to tear it. So if I was using the whole chicken, I would just tear all the meat off. I don't like any fat in it. So I will remove any fat or any gristles that may, you know, be in the chicken. Get that off of there because I'm going to need it with that much chicken. Okay. Let me stir this in here a little bit. Actually, if I had another can of soup, I might would just add that on in there. I'm not sure if I have one. May have to check. More liquid to it. I believe I will check. But I will put her recipe in the description, and you can see I do it different ways. I mean, so I guess you could say I've tweaked her recipe a little bit. Just like we use that term in soap making. Whenever you change someone else's recipe. I'm going to see if I have some more cream of chicken. I'll bring you back. Okay, change in plan. I'm going with 4 cups of chicken because I don't have any more soup, and that's just going to make it way too dry. Okay, here it is in the pan. I just scooped it in, spreaded it out, and now I'm going to show you how I'm going to do the top. So on a portion of it, I'm just going to simply sprinkle breadcrumbs. Not going to mix any butter with that. Let me move this over. Here, these, I'm just going to do like this right here. Okay, now the recipe calls for 2 cups of these, which I know I've got more there, but I like it thick. So it calls for 2 cups of the crushed cornflakes and 1/4 cup of butter. So that's how you're supposed to do it. I'm going to be doing it a little bit different. I'm going to put a little bit more butter, and this is more than 2 cups of cornflakes. So I'll bring you back. I've got to melt the butter, and I'll bring you back. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put some breadcrumbs on part of this. And I've got my butter melting. My husband doesn't like leftovers too much. Now me, I'll eat on leftovers at night or whatever. He does if it's got hamburger. Not, then no. And he doesn't like a whole lot of crust on the top, so that's about all that's going to get. Okay, we're going to try 6 tablespoons of butter and see how that works. Because it called for 4 for 2 cups, but this is more than 2 cups of cornflakes. And I believe that's going to be plenty. Just incorporating that around like so. You just want to get them kind of coated with a little bit of butter. Move my hand out of your light. And I think we've got them coated. That way they brown just a little bit and they kind of stick together a little bit. And gives it a nice crunchy topping. This back over here. Zoom me out a little bit. And I'll start putting it. Now you don't have to put this as thick as I'm putting it. I just like it thick. So, nice crunchy top. If you do 2 cups, it'll have a normal thickness on the top. But 2 cups is the measurement for the whole thing. You see I'm splitting it. And using breadcrumbs on part of it and cornflakes on the rest. And I seem to be making a mess also with my cornflakes. Okay. Now you're going to leave that uncovered. You're going to put it in your oven, preheated to 350, and you're going to cook it for 45 minutes. I'll bring you back when it's done and show you the finished chicken casserole. Okay, here it is. This is the one without cornflakes. This is the one with cornflakes. So I'll put the original recipe in the description box, and if you like our videos, please do click subscribe. Share our videos if you want, and thanks for watching. Happy soap and bacon, whatever you may be making.